the grey silence of post-war England, when hunger had become a familiar ghost in every household and orphaned children wandered the streets like forgotten prayers, the structure known as St. Eliza's Orphanage rose from the mist like salvation itself. Built of old limestone and crowned with a steeple that pierced the clouds, it sat alone on a hill above the dying town of Harrogate, where the smoke of collapsed factories still clung to the air. People called it the Sanctuary, a place touched by divine mercy where broken souls could rest. But even from the day its doors opened, there was something in its stillness, something that watched back. The woman who founded it, Sister Eliza Ashcroft, carried herself with saintly poise, always dressed in spotless white despite the ash of the world around her. To the villagers, she was a living angel, her voice soft, her smile patient, her eyes endlessly kind. She fed the hungry, clothed the cold, and spoke of heaven as if she had been there herself. Mothers brought their starving children to her gate with trembling gratitude. They never imagined that behind her serenity pulsed an obsession far darker than the war that had destroyed their lives. Inside those walls, St. Eliza moved like a ghost of grace, touching every child on the head as she whispered that pain cleansed sin. She believed that suffering polished the soul, that only those purified through agony could stand before God without shame. To her, the war had been a divine message, a cleansing fire for the world. But it was incomplete. She saw herself as the continuation of that holy task, chosen to finish what the battlefield had begun. The townspeople saw light in the orphanage windows each night and imagined the sisters praying. In truth, the candles flickered beside small beds where children knelt for hours, repeating verses about purity until their lips bled. The first to disappear was a boy named Thomas, a child with eyes too large for his thin face. Eliza had called him the stubborn one, the soul that resisted redemption. After his absence, the sisters were instructed never to speak of him again. When the villagers asked, Eliza smiled gently and said the boy had found a family in the north. No one questioned her. Her kindness made her words feel like scripture. The building itself seemed alive, absorbing the prayers and the cries into its stone bones. The air inside was damp with the smell of wax and fear. Corridors ran too long for the size of the building, and the echo of footsteps followed even when no one walked them. The children spoke among themselves, quietly, about the room at the end of the east hallway, the one with the iron door. They called it the listening room, because when you placed your ear to the wood, you could hear something breathing on the other side. At night they swore they saw Sister Eliza moving through the hall carrying not a lamp but a small silver basin. None dared to ask what was inside.